What's going on, guys? I wanted to hop in and make a little video about what I do with my broadheads and how I'm sharpening them. Let's talk about that.
What's going on, guys? My name's Jordan. This is my brother Jason.
And we are the Big Adventure Bros.
The Big Adventure Bros.
Alrighty, guys, so I am running the Magnus Stingers 100 grain broadheads. These guys are sweet. I've ran them for about two and a half seasons, and they're awesome. I have not had any issues with them. Pretty good success rate as far as deer go. Every deer that I've shot with this bow I've actually killed, and these are what I was using. So let's talk about how I sharpen them. So let's get in it. Let's get right into it, guys. So I want to talk about these Magnus Stinger broadheads. I personally use the 4-bladed variants of these. I find they're they're stupid accurate. They shoot just like my field tips, and I love these things. These things are awesome. They do sell replacement blades and replacement bleeders. I have yet to replace any of mine, and I'll show you that I am going to replace some. I'll show you why here in a second, but I want to show you what I do to sharpen these. This broadhead here has been shot and it is dull now, so I want to sharpen this guy up and get it ready for my upcoming trip to the mountains this weekend. I got a piece of paper here just to show you guys how dull that broadhead is. Extremely dull. She will not cut paper. The bleeders are pretty dull too. They're not gonna cut. So let's get this thing ready for hunting season. All right, so the Worksharp sharpener. This is the Worksharp Elite Sharpener knife sharpener kit. It runs like 150 bucks, I think. I love this thing. I think this thing's awesome. I've definitely got my money's worth out of this thing. This thing is awesome. I use it for all my knives. I've sharpened Benchmades using that sharpener. I've sharpened Spydercos. I've got some pretty fancy knives, so all of my knives are sharpened using this thing, and I love it. I would not sharpen these knives with anything else other than this. This thing's awesome. I know they have an upgraded version of this. This is like kind of the older model. The old upgraded one is very nice too, but for me, this works perfectly. Maybe one day I'll upgrade to the more expensive one, but for now, I think this thing is awesome. So let's get into it. So this is what you're gonna get with this Worksharp. You're gonna get 3 guided sharpening stones and this mount and everything. So let's pull this thing out and set it up. That's literally it. She is set up. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. So you've got these 3 guide rails as your stand, and you're able to adjust your angle that you want that edge to be. So you could set it to whatever angle you want, and if you push this button in the back, you're able to rotate this holder, this blade holder. So you're able to rotate it, so you don't have to take the blade out every time you want to rotate it. And let's see, this one is your more aggressive grit. It starts at 250, it goes to 250 to 320, and then 400. And then this one is so worn out, I can almost not see it. This is 600, 800, and then ceramic. And then this one is a strop. So let's get into it. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna tear this broadhead apart. So get you a little screwdriver, and this works with most broadheads that you can take apart and you can take the blades out. So if it's got replaceable blades, you're able to take the blade out. And really all this blade is a utility blade. So I mean, they come pretty sharp from the factory, but I would argue that I can get it, if not the same, close to it close to the edge that comes from the factory as far as sharpness goes. I can get it pretty sharp. So once you take that screw out, you're able to slide the main blade out, and this little piece will come off. And then from there, you're able to push that bleeder right out. So there's your bleeder. Here's your main blade. And then keep these parts. I like to put them in a little cup of vinegar or a cup of cleaner so they could sit there and soak and clean, because if you just shot a deer with these, they're going to be dirty. So another thing I like to do is once you get it, take it apart. I got my little toolkit here for sharpening. I like to take a little toothbrush and clean that thing up, because it's got nasty deer skin and deer hair in there and all that kind of stuff. So you want to clean that thing out, make sure it's all clean and ready to go. And if it's got old thread locker on it, I'll brush that off too. So yeah, get that nice and clean like that, and it's ready to go. So yeah, now once you have your blades out, you are ready to sharpen. So what I have done is, you might not be able to see, but I have taken a scribe and I've scribed some markings on this blade holder. Yep, you can kind of see them there, and I also have an arrow telling me what direction. This mark here is where my tip is going to be, and that mark there on this side is going to be where the back of the blade is. And if I line the tip, it's going to be out here somewhere, the tip, but it's going to line perfectly up with that line, and then the back of the blade is going to line perfectly up with that line. Now if I get that set just like that, my edges will be the exact same every time I sharpen them, which is very important. So once you put a new edge on these, then the factory edge is obviously no longer there, and you would be fighting yourself every single time trying to put a new edge on it. And that is no fun. So if you get close, I basically found where I like it and then scribed it. And now I set it up like that every single time. And it has been working pretty good for me. Yep, so we're going to lock that down. So that is where my blade's going to be. It's close enough, but as you can see, this back line is at the tip of this, the back of the blade, and this front line is in line with the edge of the blade. So that is where I keep my blades for the most part. Now I like to cinch this guy down as tight as I can get it to make sure that blade is not going anywhere. So let's get into this. So what I like to do is, I have in my kit here, I've got a Sharpie. And I will take that Sharpie and I will cover that edge right there with my Sharpie. Make sure it's nice and coated. And I want to get as close as I can to that factory edge. So I'm going to take, and it's not a messed up blade. Now if you shot bone or shot into a tree or hit a rock or something, that edge is going to have a bunch of nicks and dents and stuff, and you'll have to get some really good, you have to put some grit behind it. But for this blade, it's actually in really good shape. So I'm going to start at 400 versus the 250 or the 320. So I'm going to start at the 400 grit. I'm going to skip 2 because I know that it is a solid edge already. It doesn't have barely any imperfections or anything. So this thing magnetics in there like that. This guide just pops into that like that. And then what's cool about this is going to keep your edge, or this is going to keep your angle. So once you set this angle to whatever your desired angle you want, it just stays the same unless you bump this. But if you got the marks, so as long as you remember where to put it, then you're good to go. So I'm pretty sure that it's a 20 degree, but this is what's cool about finding out. So I'm going to set it to that 20. And I'm going to start going back and forth. And as you can see, it's already taken some of that Sharpie off right there. So that tells me, and it's only taking it off right where that edge is, that tells me that that edge is exactly 20-degree edge. It's perfect. So we're gonna sharpen this one side just like this, all the way up and down the blade, and get that Sharpie completely gone. So that's what we've got so far. See, all that Sharpie is gone, and it is nice clean metal. So what we'll do after that is we'll just flip that blade around, put our guide back in there, make sure we're working with the 400 grit, make sure it's still on 20 degrees, and we'll do this side now. I like to support this a little bit, and I even like to put my thumb right underneath this because there's a little bit of movement in this. So I like to support it right there. And if you push too hard, you actually bend that broadhead over a little bit, and you want to try your best not to do that because that'll mess with your angle. All right, so we're gonna pull this guy out, take a look at it. And I feel a little bit of a burr on that back side, or the side that we started on, and that is perfect. That's exactly what you want, is a little bit of a burr on that back side. So we'll put that back in, and we'll flip it back over to our starting side, and we will change from 40 degree. We'll take that completely off, and we'll move to, what is it, 600, I think? Yep, 600 grit. We're gonna flip it back over, and we're gonna hit it with that 800 real quick. Doesn't take much. Should be almost a mirror finish. All right, so that's the 800 grit. Let's move to that ceramic. Now, for that ceramic, I'm gonna go back into my little toolkit here. And we're gonna grab some of this oil. So this is nano oil. You put a couple drops on that ceramic disc, and it makes it just slide across that broadhead and just makes it sharpen that much better. So all that ceramic disc is gonna be for is just taking off those edges and those bevels and those nasty little burrs and stuff like that, but it's also going to help put a really nice polished finish on that side. We're going to flip this guy around and hit this side with this oil. All right, so in my little toolkit, I keep little rags here. So grab one of these guys. And get some of that oil off of it. You should be really close to a mirror finish. I mean, jeez. But I like to put a little bit of green strop compound here on the strop. Rub it in real good. And it's gonna get on the blade a little bit, but it won't be that bad. All right, so now instead of up and down movements, we're only gonna go down, or we'll cut into the strop, and we don't wanna do that. So I like to support this as much as I can with that thumb and just do downward movements. All right, so we'll flip that around. We'll do this side. Burrs are off of it and everything. And I actually really like sharpening knives. I have a passion for I collect pocket knives, and some of them are pretty expensive, so I like to keep them sharp. And actually, that just cut my finger a little bit. That's how sharp it is. Be careful when you're sharpening knives. But I like to keep mine really sharp, so I like to take a little bit of more, more time and to get my broadhead sharp, just because I think it's fun and exciting. So, all right, let's see if this thing cuts paper. Oh yeah, oh yeah, she's sharp, that's for sure. It's not gonna be the sharpest thing, but it's gonna be a lot better than it was. So we can even take this out of the clamp now. And we could show you on this other side, the side that I haven't sharpened. Yeah, she doesn't want to cut at all. We'll flip it over to the side that we just sharpened. Oh yeah, look at that. It's perfect. Let's get into that bleeder, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. It's pretty much the same thing, but like I said, I have these markings on my clamp here. I'll show you the way I like to do mine. And those markings are just so I could sharpen it the same every time, basically. So, yep, so that line there is lined up to this straight edge on the bleeder, and then this line here is lined up with the edge going back that direction. And I know to always face it this way because there's a little arrow there. So that's the way I set mine up, and that way it is the same every time I sharpen them. So with the bleeders, I don't go back to 400 grit. I'll just run it at the 600 because they're bleeders, and usually they don't get dinged up too much. This one's not dinged up at all, so being at 600 will be perfect. So I'll hit it at this 600 grit real quick. And what's good about this is literally the bleeder is almost the same size as the sharpening stone itself, so we don't have to go far at all. All right, guys, so without boring you guys, I won't show you the whole process, but I will show you when do I decide to replace these blades. So I've sharpened this broadhead probably 2 or 3 times, and as you can see, if you could see, that tip there is a little curved now. It is not super pointy. I'll show you what a new one looks like here. So that's a new one next to the sharpened one. This is the new blade. She's brand new, and this one is the old one. This one's been sharpened 2 or 3 times. So you see how this one's got a real sharp point on it, and this one's got kind of a rounded tip. This one also has several different edges. It's got like a double edge. It's kind of like a mini Tonto blade where this edge comes up and then it changes degrees here. This one's just a curve. So this, I would say that this is about time to be replaced. I could probably sharpen it a couple more times, but what will happen is this tip is going to just get slow. It's going to slowly get more dull and more dull. It's not going to be super pointy like this new one is. That's the only downside, really. But like I said, this has been sharpened 2 or 3 times, so to me, it's not really that big of a deal. Alrighty, so let's put this one that we just sharpened back together. I got all the sides sharpened and ready to go. Let's take this bleeder out. So now I got all my parts here laid out and ready to go. We're going to put that bleeder in first. And she kind of snaps in there a little bit. I'll make sure she's nice and straight in there. And then this little piece here, this little track for the main blade goes in there, and it kind of sandwiches that bleeder down. Just like that. And then we'll slide that main blade on there. Just like that. And the holes will line up. Alrighty, and right before we put that screw in, I like to take some of this blue Loctite. Just like that, a little bit of Loctite, and then we'll put this broadhead back together. give it a little bit of a cinch down there like that. She is good to go. And the final step, so there it is, guys. That is a sharp, ready to hunt broadhead. So that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That is how I sharpen my broadheads using the WorkSharp Precision Adjust Elite Sharpening Kit from WorkSharp. I mean, this thing is awesome. I've definitely got my money's worth. I sharpen all my broadheads, all my fixed blades, my fixed blade knives, my pocket knives, everything. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys found this a little interesting. I know a couple people have videos about this, but this is just how I do it and my setup. So I'm gonna clean this all up and start getting to packing. I got a pack for my trip next weekend, going to the mountains, hunting some deer with Chris from the Hunting Tradition. So that'll be super exciting. Make sure to keep an eye out for those videos. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. You guys want to see some more gear videos, or I've got some scouting videos that I can post and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys want to see. And yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. Peace.